Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on Ark Survival Ascended, and there's a ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous amount of updates that have come out recently. Bunch of really good news. I think a lot of people are like a little bit concerned about it, but there's a bunch of really good news. We have new creatures, new maps, new just game changes. There's like 100+ game changes. I'm going to talk about everything from the last, I know it's been a little bit since I made a video, but the last month or so, kind of a bunch of stuff that people are starting to miss a little bit. And yeah, so there's some really cool trends that are starting to happen, and Ark is making, I'm hoping they're making some good changes, because when Ark Survival Evolved initially released, it was just the island. A lot of people didn't like it. It didn't really grow in popularity until over time. So hopefully Ark Survival Ascended is kind of taking that same route where it's growing over time. So in case you're curious, yeah, the Community Crunch just released, and you can see that they're adding a new creature in the middle of this month. This is a creature that was from Survival Evolved, and there's actually like 6 or 7. So I think they're going to add a whole bunch of these to the maps. I love when they add new creatures, by the way, and I'm not going to tell you too much about them because it could be game wrecking, but I'm not going to go too far into it. Yeah, so this is the I'm not going to try it. Xyvactinus, and yeah, it's pretty powerful. It's essentially like a weird looking tarpon thing that goes under the water, and it's incredibly dangerous and fast. They just announced that it was going to be added to the game today. Super cool that they're going to add something like that, in my personal opinion. Now, obviously, you can see that from Ark Additions, essentially what that means to me is they're going to keep adding more. They're going to nerf some of the things, but they're going to add pretty much the entire Ark Additions throughout this year. Anything from the Brachiosaurus to the giant crocodile, Sarcosuchus or something like that, whatever it is. It's something Solosuchus. I don't know what it's called. But anyways, you get the point. So they're going to add a whole bunch of new creatures this year, which makes me excited, because Ark adding new creatures is what people enjoy. We want the new content. We don't want the, you released a game that was essentially the same as the other one. Give us some new content. And they're starting to do that, which is awesome, right? So obviously you can see hungry eyes, bigger appetite. They're super cool. When I played with them in Ark Survival Evolved, they were a blast, and you can still use this. Super neat that it's going to come out, and I'm excited for that. But yeah, so not only is that coming out, but I'll show you the next other, well, I'm just gonna go straight to it. If you haven't seen it already, the Ceratosaurus is also coming out, which is another one of the Ark Additions. That's why I think that they're gonna keep adding these Ark Additions creatures, because they're already in the game. They're already a kind of mod that Ark supports officially. So they might as well add them, because it's from someone they trust and know, and that's on their team as is. So super cool. You can see that Garuga is someone that's kind of pushing those forwards. Now, the next thing that you should be aware of for that is premium mods were kind of recently adapted so they can be used by people on console. Now, that means that, yes, it is going to be paid for mods. You do not have to play them, and some of them are going to let people purchase them to run on a server and then not have to purchase them to play on the server. Now, yes, there is positives, there's negatives. What is the benefit of having a mod, right, that is purchasable? It means that you're probably going to get better overall content, and that the person, there's no reason for them not to, is going to increase the quality of the mod over time. Now, because they probably spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours on some of these mods, it's a good thing in my opinion. And you can see Forglar is a beautiful map. I'm not going to watch this video right now, but there's new maps that I love that are starting to come out in this that are sponsored mods, and I think that's really, really cool. Now, this is another thing. People haven't seen some of this right now, right? But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff right here that's kind of changing. Basically, this means that if you're on one of these servers, be very careful, because you're going to lose everything. They're kind of just like temporary servers that they can preemptively use for the center. Now, basically, that just means they're going to have more servers available for the center on the Ark, so just be aware of that. So if you are on a server that says expire, right? Make sure that you know that that's transforming into a center and wiping all progress, characters, everything from that map. Now, just be aware of that, because that's going to come out. Now, Switch news, pretty cool. They're, yeah, I mean, the Switch is kind of forgotten about almost. And the other obvious, stuff that is normal. But anyways, so that's cool, right? But 1 new dino, 2 new dino. That's huge. I don't know if you've seen what the Ceratosaurus can do, but it literally pops blood and heals creatures, and it's one of the fastest creatures that I've ever seen inside of Ark, actually. So that's a really cool thing that they're starting to add some of the meta changing creatures inside of it, because that's what they used to do, and they were like, oh, this is being added, this is being added. It was like every single week we were getting a new creature. Now, I'm hoping that it's not every week, but, maybe one a month, once every other week or something like that. They've already got the mods in place. You just need to take the files, make sure they're not totally screwed, and then add them. It's super duper easy adding them to the core game, and it's not too bad. You can see that was where I talked about that earlier, the premium mods, right? So this was last week's, but you can see that there's nothing major going on. But the reason that there's nothing major going on is due to, well, I'm not going to go into this, but we'll go into that in a second. This right here. So this is the arkwiki.gg. You can see that there is a roadmap posted. Now, for those of you that don't track this stuff, this is obviously posted and changed on a regular basis and is technically run by Ark themselves. Even though you can update things to it, there is an Ark community member dedicated to it. So we've seen that most of their releases have occurred to the time when they thought they were going to release. However, the next thing that you want to focus on is that when they're actually working on this stuff, they're releasing the center on June 3rd, right? So that's less than a month away, which is very soon in video game time. They haven't released anything, whether it's going to be on time or not. So I'm assuming it's on time, because right about now would be the time they release their first delay, and their next delay would be like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days before. So it looks like it's probably on time. They have been releasing all that stuff. Now, directly after this, we're going to see July, we're going to see Aberration. They'll take a break in August, and then we see September, October, November, and then December. So each month, basically for the next 6 months, we're going to get a new map, which is huge. My thought process again, they probably won't release Ark 2 till after all of this is done, but it is what it is. Ooh, did I just like accidentally skip forward? No, I just skipped backwards. That's what it was. But anyways, you can see right now, right? So this is a super cool thing. So these new maps are coming out pretty soon. Probably you can see even on this one, currently expected, and a new possible DLC is likely on this point in time. So that's my guess, is that they're going to release some sort of DLC in that regard. Now, the next thing that I want you to realize is some of these premium mods are crazy. If you've never played Omega, one of the coolest mods I think I've ever played, it's like a procedurally generated creatures. You can get over 1,000 versions of every creature in the mod, and it basically like rewrites how the game works. It's a little bit more difficult to work for PvP. Is it impossible? No, but it is a doable thing. But it's one of the cool, Omega is one of the coolest mods that I've ever seen. It's very cool to see the different types of creatures you can get. And then you've got these cool things like the Sky Islands. This is a neat thing. It'll be useful for PvP and PvE servers, because you can essentially build Sky Islands to give yourself a base location. I think this could be very valuable, and adding these new premium mods are pretty freaking cool in my opinion. So definitely check them out if you get a chance. Now, the next thing that I want to talk about is outside of the new creatures, the new maps, the new everything that they're doing, Ark released a major hotfix. Now, I'm going to their Discord right now. I haven't been able to find a clean version of anywhere else, so this is why I'm on the Discord. But it is like 100 major changes. It's kind of wild what they've actually done. And they've snuck in a lot of secret things that people didn't realize were things. Like they actually got rid of the Gigantoraptor mod. It's now part of the core, literally just the core game. Prevented structures because people were abusing elevators and poker tables. So you can see, even though this doesn't seem like much, this was a multi-gigabyte update that changed a ton. So you can see count towards the 5 personal tame limit. Bad teleport for the engine. So they fixed a lot of the things that they released. Vault's collision to match its model. Tent not repairing correctly. Swivel stool. A lot of this stuff, you can see this is cool. Animation while opening and closing the door auto functionality. Now this is kind of crazy. They released inside of the mod, you can have auto open and close functionality with the saloon doors. I don't think that it's actually official with like anything else, but if you use the saloon doors, you can use the auto door functionality, which is a major change, kind of an S+ thing that got ported over from Ark Survival Ascended. They snuck into, you can see right here, auto door option to the frontier that allows regular doors. A little bit of pushing people towards purchasing this, but it's still really cool that they're adding that to the game. You can see you can no longer remove bolas from an ally or tame dinos when on a server. Or I guess you're able to, because you were unable to, and that was problematic. Now, player character corpse sometimes turning invisible in single player. This was a big problem. I experienced this one a few times, and I was like, where did it go? Fixing a lot of those. I mean, obviously, there's some other stuff that's pretty cool. But a lot of this, the weather visuals, what they did, I mean, I don't know if I'm not on the right spot, but basically, they changed it so weather events happened less commonly on Scorched Earth, because they were happening, like you'd get one weather event, And then while you were in one weather event, it would end and the next one would begin. So it was crazy. You were getting overheated to electrical storm to like, it was kind of nuts. So they reduced the number of times, which is a very good thing because Scorched was hard to play enough as is. Then you add in all of that stuff and it's kind of wild. Now, you can also see that they've changed a few basic things. Where's the one that I wanted to talk about? I lost it, but it's not here. Ooh, this one, the babies. So they made it so babies are harvestable now because some people were having an issue where they just like disappear into oblivion. But with a wide range of attack, they're smaller, but you can actually harvest the creature corpses now, which is pretty important. Clipping issues, you can see that. A lot of clipping issues with Outlaw, Manticore, and then model clipping. It doesn't seem like much, but these are massive changes that are actually changing and fixing a lot of things that you kind of like throw off as, it's just a video game. The more they can do this, the better off they are, because we want a game that's still working. Ark Survival Evolved, if you go to Steam server pop, is still sitting at like 30 to 50,000 active players, whereas Ark Survival Ascended is sitting around 10 to 20. So there's still a massive number of people that play Ark Survival Evolved. And if you can make a game that's functional and has a bunch of maps and content, people will eventually port over from Evolved to Ascended. It's just going to take some time. So making these changes is a pretty important thing. And then you can see blood impact video effects on several creatures to match their blood color, like Rock Elemental, Deathworm, and Achatina. It doesn't seem like much, but it is really cool. So Black Pearls look like the Silica Pearl model when they're dropped. These are massive things, right? Ammo blueprints into the supply crate loot tables. It doesn't seem like much. Why would that be useful? Because you can use blueprints to mass produce things really quickly, which is very, very nice to not have to learn something like that in case you're curious. But anyways, you can see being applied to players on the island, properly on Scorched Earth, and then it just keeps going. This one is really crazy. Made an adjustment to Broodmother Arena to fix a spot to cheese the Broodmother. Now, I've definitely done that before. I hope that they did, maybe they remove some of these so you actually have to face things, but we'll see. And then multiple eggs stacking in the same spot, that was a problem. And then removing on server restart, leaving floating eggs, which is very frustrating because people just like wait till server restart, they go in and they take all the eggs, and they kind of remove that opportunity, which is huge. So there's a lot of massive changes in here, right? Phoenix sometimes teleporting to Origin, not dropping Black Pearls, which is, in case you're curious, that's a thing. Pretty cool that they drop Black Pearls. But to drink water when it follows, the Moralitops has clamped to 750, and basically, yeah, tons of changes. Facilosuchus, we're providing 2 little resources when harvest, unable to bury. There's just, it's crazy. Removed XP from crafting the cosmetic skins. Deathworm spawns by 25%. I don't know if you knew this, but there's only 2. So adding 25% is like 3 maybe on a map at a time. And then guaranteed to drop 75 Black Pearls for an alpha Deathworm. That's a huge change, and a treasure map. So that's pretty cool. Usually it's a guaranteed treasure map. I would assume it's higher quality. Haven't officially gone through that yet, but it's a big change. Queen bees, and then inside of the mesh. This was an issue since the beginning, but a lot of these changes, again, the point is these things are fixing the problems inside of Ark. You can see several exploits, localization issues, server crashes. Those are big changes. We want those to change. So new maps, new creatures, massive game updates. That is how you bring your community back. Now, I know they've made a lot of mistakes, so this is not me just saying Ark is good to go, but they're going in the right direction. Fixing these kinds of things, adding new creatures before releasing maps so things aren't just broken on arrival. These are massive changes that we look forward to in the Ark community. I think it's super exciting. Yes, I understand. Solo player is still problematic for some people. Yes, I understand. There's still cheating and stuff like that happens in official servers. Don't play official servers. That's my biggest recommendation. But as a whole, it's going in the right direction. So I like to see that. The animated series was good. I don't have much negative from these updates that have been pushed recently, and they're starting to add more maps, which is what makes me excited. Now, I still plan on playing. I've kind of been bored because, you know, you play the island, you play Scorched Earth. Those are the only 2 maps. Not great. Center, once it comes out, you'll have a map that's kind of Ragnarok-like, and plus you kind of have the ability to jump between Scorched Earth and the island. Super great combination. And then Aberration releases directly, which is my favorite map, by the way, directly after that. And then I am stoked for that. So yeah, definitely getting back into everything, and I'm hoping, and I still think they're moving in the right direction. My guess is Ark 2 won't be released till next year, but you know, it's also possible that Ark Survival Ascended somehow turns into Ark 2. Not sure how, but it's possible. So anyways, let me know what you think below in the comments, and if you don't mind, smash that like button, leave a comment below for the algorithm, and then consider subbing to the channel. All right, Teach.